Hi. In this video, we will first understand what is simple moving average, and we'll also use visual calculation and compute moving average. We will then make it dynamic. We'll also create measures for simple moving average. Finally, we will try to briefly understand what is MACD and signal lines. So let us try to first understand what is simple moving average. And as I said, we wanted to first understand what is simple moving average, and then we will try to use Power BI visual calculation and try to compute simple moving average. As shown here, simple moving average in finance, a moving average is a stock indicator commonly used in technical analysis. So what we are trying to do is, even though our data is 311 service request data from city of Little Rock, Arkansas, the concepts which we are going to learn in this video would be useful. You can apply it to any financial market also. So this moving average is a stock indicator commonly used in technical analysis in a financial market, especially stock market, etc. So a simple moving average is a calculation that takes the arithmetic mean of a given set of prices over a specific number of days in the past. In our dataset, we have our number of complaints and we also have dates. So we will try to compute a simple moving average and try to find out the simple moving average of the number of complaints. And why is it called as a moving average? It is called as a moving average because it's a dynamic calculation that continually updates and recalculates as new data points become available. So that is the reason why it is called as a moving average. So we will try to compute simple moving average, and we are going to use visual calculations. And this is a February 2025 version of Power BI which I am using. So that is automatically those options are there in Power BI. Like I already said, for this video, though we are using 311 requests, we will understand certain concepts so that we can apply them in any other data sets. So in this report page, as you can see, there is a slicer up top, and let me drag the table visual here and add date and also number of complaints. This is a line chart, and if you click on any kind of month, year on the top slicer, the line chart also changes. That is an interactive visual, so obviously it will change, and we can make all the formatting changes here. You want to have markers, you want to change the colors, lines, and you want to add data labels. It all depends on our requirements, so I'm trying to play around with that. And if you want, you can keep the markers or you can disable them so that we don't need that cluster there. And essentially what we could do is we can just click on this visual, and like as shown, there are already predefined functions that includes moving average also. So this moving average function expects a field. We will try to pass the number of complaints and also the window size, how many periods you want to go back. So let us say we want to go back 3 periods, so we want to calculate moving average. So it is perfectly working as shown here. Those are the 3 values which is taking, and the average is 24. So far so good. So automatically, since we have added this calculation here, automatically the line graph is also changed. Again, we have to remember this is a visual level calculation, so that means it is available only on this visual. So you can go ahead and format it also as shown here, and you can use in the format section properties. And you want to increase the decimal places, you can do that. You can add the 1000 separators, and as such, for every value you have in this visual, you can make those formatting changes. So let us try to go back and let us try to click on any of those months. So you have your moving average and also the total number of complaints. So it is perfect. Let us try to change the line shape. Let us try to change the color and also make it as dashed so that you have your simple moving average there. And I've enabled data labels for number of complaints. So depends again on our needs. We can have enable and disable them for whatever metric we are working on. So for now, I'm trying to use it for number of complaints. So the data labels are there. and I have changed the color and also the shape of the line. So far so good. This is perfect, right? So again, we have to remember we have hard coded those the three number, right? So what if you want to have it as a dynamic, right? In case if you want, you can create a dynamic parameter. What if parameter? Does it work? So visual calculations, visual level calculation, we'll try to play around with it and see if we can kind of tweak the code and make it work. So let us first create a dynamic parameter as shown here from modeling, and let us try to have a min and max values. And I'm just trying to have a 3 and 27 and default 15, and increment is 1, and automatically if you're enabled, a slicer will be added to the report page as shown here. Slicer is there. We can use the format painter and select the month year slicer and try to click on format and try to use it for this slicer. So let us try to make changes here. Let us try to change the background, and we have our dynamic slicer ready. So if you make any selections on it, obviously the line visual will not change because we have not made the connections between this graph, line graph, and also the dynamic values. So what we could do is, we can, next step is we can tweak the table with what we have just created, right? The dynamic parameter as shown, it is using a generate series function. So let me make the changes whatever I want to. You can have different levels, say different increment sizes and default values. So we have that taken care. We have made changes there, and now we can go back and edit the moving average. So suppose if we try to use that particular value, this is not there on the visual yet, right? So one way to do is that we can go back to the line chart, and you can add this particular dynamic parameter value to tooltips. That way we have that available in our visual calculation, right? Let us try that. I've added that here. Let us try to go back to our code and let us try to edit our moving average, and let us try to add it here. So let me see, in case I don't want a hard-coded value, so that's the reason why I'm trying to use a dynamic value. If you add this, obviously we are getting an error. I think it's a syntax error. Let me fix that. Once I fix that and commit to it, still we are getting an error. It says that, hey, it expects a constant as an argument for number 2. So this is not working, right? So let us try to kind of think it over. What I was thinking is that we could use a switch statement here and add that dynamic parameter value. So let us try to kind of tweak this code, and let us try to use the switch statement, and let us use the dynamic parameter as expression. And since we have a table already, so we want, hey, if it is 3, then calculate the moving average, and that is 3, right? So similarly, I've added the code here, and you can pause the video and look at the code. It's a pretty simple code to understand. So essentially what we are trying to do is, even though we have a table externally, which is a what if parameter, by adding this code, we are kind of tweaking and making changes here so that we should be able to use this visual calculation. So I think it's working. So we can click on any of those dynamic parameter values and also month. This is perfect, right? So we have created a visual level calculation, but we also kind of tweaked the code, and we have used a dynamic parameter so that we are able to use visual level calculations, but also using the dynamic slicer. So that is the first thing. So next is we can use the DAX measures and we'll try to compute a simple moving average. So that is a standard. I think additionally, if people are looking for creating simple moving average, we can do that. So there are a couple of steps involved. So we need to get the dates first, and also we need to get the values and compute the average. So those are 2 steps which are required. Let me just go back to my measures table and try to right click on and create a new measure. And let us try to name this as SMA equal to, like I said, there are two steps. So let us try to grab the table. So dates equal to dates in period, and dates in period expects a few arguments, a few parameters. So we are trying to add those parameters here. So there are dates and start date, number of intervals and interval. As shown here, I'm using a last date function to grab that last non-blank date. And also the interval, we have our dynamic parameter. So we can say, we can directly pass that measure which is created for us. I'm adding that here. And let me just try to add the last parameter, which is day. We want it by day, right? So let me just try to format this so that it looks good, and anyone looking at the code can understand this. So we have a dates table ready. So the first step is we have completed, and let us try to create another variable. So next step is pretty simple, right? We have to use, we have to get the average. So let us try to use the iterator function average x. It expects a table. Already we have a table there. We pass the dates table there. And for the expression, we are trying to use the number of complaints. And in the return, we just simply return this average, commit to it. And in case if you want, you can format it. So obviously we need it as a decimal number. And if you add this to the table visual, and your simple moving average is ready. So our data minimum date is 1/1/2016. So if you click on any other months, so those values are changing. But if you see for January, first prior to that there is no date. So I just wanted to kind of tweak the code which we just wrote. So we wanted to make sure that if there are no values, we want that to appear here. So we say, hey, if count rows of this particular dates table is less than dynamic parameter value, then give some kind of say, we say, hey, not enough periods for SMA, right? So that way, if people are using this, and we want to make sure that this particular message appears, and if it is not, then give me the average. So once you commit and kind of make changes to this code and drag it, say let me try to drag it onto the canvas, onto the table visual rather. So perfect, right? Like I said, January 1st is the minimum date. So if you click on those parameters, dynamic parameters, it is working perfectly. So if there is no data, it is saying that, hey, not enough periods for calculating SMA. So perfect. And next is we want also the user to know, right? So we want to, instead of user thinking that, hey, I've clicked on 9, and instead we want the user to know what are the values which are taken for calculating the simple moving average. So let me create a measure. Let me call it as DMA values. We already have a table. So I'm copy pasting here the dates table. And next is we in the return, we will say that, hey, if, again, same thing, if count rows of this table is less than dynamic parameter value, then add a message. You can customize this. I'm just adding some random message here. Not enough periods for SMA. If this condition is not, then we'll say, hey, we will try to add parenthesis here, and we will try to use concatenate x. It's again iterator function. It expects a table. We already have the dates table. Then next is we will try to add the expression, and since we have expression number of complaints, we will try to format it and make sure that it is 1,000 separators as shown here. And for further other parameters, we will try to add the delimiter and such, right? It's a simple thing. And we have a concatenate x. We have added the table, and also we have added the expression. And also we want to not only do this, that way we have all those values there. And also we also should know that how many n, right? The value of n rather. So we want to use the count rows. You can add a slash. I think I forgot to add a slash. So we are kind of dividing this by using count rows of the date. Will give you the number of number n. So that once we commit to it and drag onto the canvas, this is how it looks, the DMA values. daily moving average or simple moving average. Once we add that, it will tell you, for example, the selection is 9. So those are the values. Values are also shown. That way, it is kind of additional tool tip sort of for the user. So whenever the user makes selections, it will also give you the simple moving average, and also it will tell you what are the values it is calculating, right? What are the values it is taking and calculating the simple moving average. You can format all those things. I've added another line chart so that this report page looks good. So we have really in a short time we understood the logic, and we have created DAX measures, and kind of created another DMA values measure too. So this way we have visual calculation moving average, and also we have calculated this simple moving average by DAX measures. So next is we have to understand what is MACD and what is signal line. Again, these are all financial terms: moving average, convergence, divergence, and also signal line. We will briefly look at it. The details are beyond the scope of this video. So let me just go to Google and see. Moving average, convergence, divergence is a technical indicator, and it's a momentum indicator. Basically, we have to calculate exponential moving averages, but in our case, we have used a simple moving average, because the exponential moving average is kind of a complex code which is required in Power BI. It's kind of easy in doing Excel, but not in Power BI. So I have to look into it. If possible, if I can get a solution, I will try to add that to exponential. But for now, we can use this MACD line as shown here. It requires 2 periods, right? It requires a 12 period and also 26 period. So for us, we have already a table there. So we can tweak the code, what we have already written. So make it as 2 different dates, and then calculate separately average for those 2 things. So that way we have MACD line, and the formula is 12 minus 26 period. That is a simple thing. And again, I'm trying to scroll through whatever details I have here. Again, this is a moving average, convergence, divergence line. It's a technical indicator to help investors, right? Again, I said even though our data is different, one could use the same concepts and try to work on financial data and use this MACD and signal line. Signal line is a 9-period EMA of the MACD line. So just for fun, I'm doing this. I'm not an expert in this stock market thing. The MACD is 12-period EMA minus 26-period EMA, and signal line is a 9-period EMA. So all we have to do is create 2 measures, and MACD line will tell you, hey, if it is positive, it is bullish. If it is negative, then it is bearish. So it depends upon how the line is moving in the line chart. So based on that, traders and people who are investing in market will know when to buy or when to sell. So again, the signal line, it provides timing signals for potential trade entry and exit points. So it's a lot of technical jargon. So I will leave it to you guys. In case if you're interested, please go ahead and read up. But I just wanted to kind of show you that it's also easy for us to create MACD and also signal line measures in DAX. Again, this potentially requires exponential moving average, but I have used simple moving average. Like I said, exponential moving average calculation is kind of complex in Power BI using DAX. So this is the line chart. I've added MACD and also signal line, and this is the code. Like I said, we need 2 tables, one for 26 day and one for 12 day. So I've created those 2 dates tables, and the next 2 variables will calculate the average X for those tables. So by adding the expression number of complaints, we could get those values. So once we do that, and in the return, if you subtract SMA 26 from SMA 12, you get MACD line. That's what I understood from the documentation of MACD, what I have read. So this is a MACD line. So once we have MACD line, commit to it. And also similarly, we have seen that signal line requires a 9-day simple moving average, exponential moving average, but we are using simple moving average. So same table, I've changed the value to 9, and again calculate the average, and we pass the dates table as the table for average x, and expression we have number of complaints, and return we return the signal line. Once we have those two measures, I have passed those two measures to this line chart as shown here. So you can pause the video and probably look at it and read up on these things. Again, the further explanation of these concepts is beyond the scope of this video. So I just wanted to make sure that we have those things also covered here. And if user makes any selections on the dynamic parameter or the months, both table visuals and the line charts will change. Obviously, the signal in MACD line will not change because those are not impacting except the month, but the dynamic parameter will not impact that visual. But otherwise, the top line chart and the table visual will be changing based on the slices selections. So we have created SMA using visual calculations, and we have improved and made it as a dynamic, and also we have created DAX measures to calculate SMA on the regular SMA DAX measures so that they could be used anywhere. And also we briefly touched upon MACD and signal line. So in a short time, we have done these things. Like I said, you can apply these concepts to any financial data. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.